Hello, Stampin' Buddies. It's Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin'. Late Night Lori. It's almost 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday night. Maybe I'll even get this posted before midnight. We'll see. So tonight I am going to feature some of this Marbled Elegance paper. I think that's what it's called. Designer series paper that's got some gold foiling on it and some other designs. And I am actually going to try to recreate a card that I got for Christmas from my friend Linda. So basically this is just like scraps with adhesive and gold embossing powder on there. So we're going to turn it into more of a Valentine's card. So this heart, for you Paper Pumpkin subscribers, you might recognize this as the February die from the Spring is in the Air dies. Excuse me. That is an add-on, but it's only available for Paper Pumpkin subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber, you need to subscribe because there's just some great kits that Stampin' Up! Is doing, and these add-on kits, there's, or the add-on dies rather, there's refill kits usually available. So if you really like something, you can get basically the parts and pieces without the ink spot and the stamp set so that you're just getting the consumable things. But this sentiment is from this heart shape. This is a celebration reward. So I got this and the coordinating dies by placing a $120 purchase, $120 product purchase. So I'm using this My Thoughts of You are all heart-shaped, and this flower and the leaf I stamped around the side, so I really like how that looked. And what I did with this die is I cut it once on the white, so you can see how the outline is here with the white, so that would have been like this. And I did it once in the gold, and then I'm interchanging the insides and the border to create this. So when I put it together, I just used some tear and tape to stick it together. And then I'm not taking the backing off. I'm just using it like plain old tape. And then I've got some dimensional edge pieces that we're going to put that hopefully on the card if it turns out. We'll see. And I'm thinking I might want to use this gold open weave trim. So I think this is really pretty. So we'll see how it looks when we're done. We'll see if it's got too much going on or not, but that's out there just in case. And I'm going to set this up here so we can kind of see the sample. I'll move these off to the side. And what I've done then is I've got my card base, which is my normal 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. I used my bone folder already to burnish that crease. And then I have a card front size. So I've just trimmed it down to 4 across here by 5 1/4. And then with these pieces, because I know we're going to have some spacing between my scrap pieces, I have 3 of them. And I cut those to 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, I think. So let's see. I think that's 4 3/4 and then 3 1/2. So what I'm going to try to do is put this adhesive sheet, and this is an older adhesive sheet. I think these adhesive sheets now come and they don't have the logo on here. But basically all you do is you peel off the protective piece. You put your cardstock on it, and I do things kind of diagonally. So if you put your cardstock on it, then when we go to peel this off, we can peel the backing off. And our piece is going to be sticky, so I'm not going to peel that off just yet because knowing me, I will get things stuck in it. All right. So then what I'm going to do with these is just kind of cut them randomly And I'll use my little trimmer, my little guillotine. I love this little thing. And I accidentally cut one of my pieces, so we're gonna go like this, and we're gonna cut those, and then we'll just start cutting some random things here. And this may or may not work because I didn't flip any of my pieces. Yeah, we'll wing it. We'll see if it works. If I have to trim stuff, I have to trim stuff. So those go like that. I'm just trying to keep it kind of in my puzzle piece. So those were like this. I don't normally cut with 3 pieces all together, but 2, 3, that must be off of there. And then we'll just go like this. So that's my puzzle piece. All right. So we'll get rid of this. And what I will end up doing is basically using pieces from each sheet. So I'm getting layer 1 here. That looks like that's from there. Somehow I think I messed it up already, but I wanted to try to keep some of these together. I might have gotten my sheets out of order. Oh, I bet this one was out of order. There. Oh, Lori, Lori, Lori. Make things more complicated. All right. It shouldn't be that complicated, but you know, sometimes that's just me. That's the way I roll. I was trying to keep my pieces together, but I messed it up. So that goes with that, that goes with that. So that's one sheet. I think that's that sheet. Who knows? I should have probably had this laid out ahead of time. Maybe that goes with this one. Oh boy, such a struggle. There we go. So what I'm going to try to do, we'll see how it works. I am just going to try to randomize some of these pieces. So let's take our adhesive backing off and get rid of that piece. And let's start using some of these other pieces. So this one got trimmed a little wonky. So let's put this here. And then maybe this one. And I'm just going to leave some space in between the pieces. So here what I'll do with this one is actually end up trimming some off. Don't really need those big scissors anymore. Trim a little bit more off of that. So we're just going to create a mosaic. And try to change up the designs here. And we'll kind of going wonky because I didn't cut my pieces quite the same because I forgot to flip one of the designs, which was my intention because I wanted to use some of the plain sides too. But it is what it is, right? So we're going to have a lot of extra pieces, and we can trim those down for some other project. And this is not working at all how I expected it to work, of course. So we're just going to wing it because that's kind of what we do. And we can, I don't really want that piece there. It would have been much easier if I'd have planned this out ahead of time. So let's cut like this. When I figure out a simpler way, I will post that. So now we're going to take off some of this too. That's what happens when we just do things on the fly. It'll be fine. It will be fine. So let's just trim a little more off of this one. You can trim off, but you can't add, so we'll do the best we can. Still need to trim a little bit more off of that one. Oh, so what's everybody been making? I have just been randomly trying to use some of my supplies and share those with everybody. Let's see what else we have here. That would work there. Hopefully this will kind of turn out well. At least get the idea. It doesn't have to be an exact science, right? It's all part of the creative process. And then actually, I could just put that there, and then I wouldn't even have to try to fit something in there. But I really like that one. Although this piece would be good too. Oh, that'll work. And then we could just put a little piece in there. So we'll go from here. That'll be fine. And then let's go maybe something like this. Trim that down just a little bit. So if we trim it to there, don't mind me, you know, kind of like talk amongst yourselves right now. We'll figure it out. Could even be just a little bit smaller, but it's on there now. So let's just get those out of the way. I may or may not use those for the next card. We'll see. Because it might just be easier to start over. But I can use those for something, right? So let's get these out of the way. And then with my embossing powder, these come in little canisters, but I've got mine in these trays because it's just a little bit easier. Usually I use a little spoon to put it on there, but I figured that would just, I didn't have that much left in here, so I thought I would just pour it on here. And then you just want to get all of the edges where there's that adhesive, because I put the adhesive along the whole edge, right? I put it on the whole layer. Okay. So it's not sticking there. So I think what I'll do is I'll put a little piece of maybe Terran tape on there, because that's kind of important to have it there. So that's stuck on there pretty good. So we'll put Terran tape here. I could probably put Terran tape along that whole edge. I want to peel this off. Boy, this is a struggle card today. Shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be that hard. But maybe what I'll do is I'll just trim some of that edge off of there, because that side's more narrow than this side, and I'll have to trim it up anyway, because I am not really sure how else I'm going to be able to get this to work really well. We'll give this a whirl. Let me take some of that off, but let's just see. We'll see how it works. So when you put your adhesive sheet on, make sure that your adhesive is going all the way to the end. But I think this will be all right. And I'll just clean up my glass mat later. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun here. And get this to change. See how when you just hold the heat on there, hopefully you can see that warming up. What we want to do is, these are all basically like plastic, and that side's probably not going to work real well because of the extra adhesive I put on there. You can do it from the top or from the bottom. I usually do it from the bottom just because it's easier for me to see. Yeah, that edge didn't turn out very good where I tried to do the makeshift adhesive. But I usually heat mine from the bottom so then I can see better. And you can watch it turn. So basically what we're doing is we're melting that plastic and it becomes that metallic finish. And now I'm just working underneath my card for all these little channels. Hopefully you can see that. It's like magic, it really is. And you just want to make sure that you get it so that your embossing powder is all shiny. If you've got any dull parts, it won't really work. It'll brush off, it'll make a mess. And we don't want metallic powdery mess around. Now, one other thing that I didn't do that I should have is brush off some of the gold metallic that got across my card here, but since this is kind of my prototype, I think it'll be fine. Plus I have to put my sentiment somewhere. So let's move this out of the way. The nice thing about this tool tray too is that your embossing powder, you can just tap down to the end, take this cap off. And then pour it back into your container. And then usually what I do when I'm all done is I'll just take like a damp paper towel and I'll wipe out the residue so I don't mix my colors the next time I go to emboss. There's a brush that comes with it. There is a set of reverse tweezers, and we have a little mess here. So we'll just get rid of that. All right, cover this stuff back up. And then what we're going to do is trim off some of these edges where I had to add the adhesive because that didn't work how I wanted it to. So we'll just trim some of this off. And we'll make it look like that's how I wanted it. I'm not going to trim off all the way around because I do want some of that effect on there. But it's just going to be a little smaller layer than what I had originally intended. That's what I get for not practicing my technique ahead of time. If I would have practiced, we wouldn't be going through this right now. But this will go here. I might offset it. Oh, I know. We could put our ribbon in here and just have our ribbon go over the edge. That might kind of work. Let's take a look here. Just trim that down. All right, so let's go ahead and glue this little puppy down. It is what it is. My next one will be prettier. And maybe I can get my technique worked out. There's probably a more exact science to it, but I figured I'd just wing it. Because sometimes that's just more fun. Oh, and then I'm going to change this because I want those hearts to be right side up. And that's the beauty of the all-purpose glue, the multi-purpose glue. There. We'll put this on here. So I'll just want to put a little runner on here. Stick this down. So it goes the whole width of the card. We'll take off our backing to our dimensional scraps. Maybe. I usually use my take your pick tool. So I think we'll put that right along here because I want some of that to show, because that actually turned out pretty good. And then we could put some of those heart embellishments that come with this, but I think what I'll do instead is maybe just flick some Wink of Stella across the sentiment. So that wasn't too bad for messing up on it, I guess, right? So here's the card that I was working on. I think Linda did a much better job on hers than I did on mine. Hopefully she didn't struggle as much as I did. But there's my take on it. I think I'll do that again because it's actually a nice card, but I'll do it maybe so that I've got the gold border on the edges. But at least it looks symmetrical, and I think it would work. So give this a try. If you do, take a picture, add it to the comments. I would love to see how you do yours. And that's all I got for tonight. So happy stamping, and until next time.